Welcome everyone, it's Michael DeHaan from Care to Grow. I've got Nathan Smith with me from Birdie Wealth, and really we've got together, we've talked about, I suppose, what's happening out in the economy, financial stress and what people are going through, and very like-minded people. We're looking at, I suppose, sharing some education, some tips, some strategies for people to think about and actually look at their situation, and ideally to get some, I suppose, financial security around where they're at. So Nathan, I'd love you to just give us sort of a brief intro about yourself, your business, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. There's so much information available now. It's to our detriment, I think. There's so much misinformation and conflicting information that it's good to hear from the people who are sitting there day in, day out working with these clients as to what's actually happening, and that's what we're hoping to share today. So I run a business called Birdie Wealth based in the Sutherland Shire and have been a broker for 11 years now. Our role really is to help facilitate mortgages, predominantly residential mortgages for mums and dads in around the Sutherland Shire. So that's what we do. At the moment, we're continuing to trade, but a lot of our work is in that financial hardship and restructuring loans at the moment. Yeah. So helping people put themselves in a good position and just being conscious of what they're doing at the moment and how they're spending their money. Michael, for my audience, can you let me know a little bit about your business and what you do?
Sure. So my business is Care to Grow. It's been around for 14 years. I've ran different businesses through there, generally financial planning. There wasn't a lot around sort of financial well-being. So I deliberately changed that about 18 months ago and started looking at financial well-being, people's relationships with money, financial stress. I think what we're seeing now as an example is that there's a lot of people overwhelmed with financial stress. It was always there. It's just, it's very much heightened now. So I'm probably busier than ever, but it's really, I suppose, and I've had to pivot the business, Nathan, to a certain degree, which is really talking to people about what's happening now, how to get them through the next day, the next 7 days, the next month, the next 3 months. And my business is really around sort of money mindset and shifting that to, I suppose, better beliefs, better behaviours long term. And to pivot that now and say, people need help now. With this uncertainty, they want some certainty, they want some strategies to sort of make them feel safe. And then have a sort of a good plan and having the right people around them to support that.
Yeah.
And from that, I know that we both sort of interacted in regard to getting an understanding of some of the questions that our clients are asking, that they're going through at the moment there. So that's probably a good sort of lead in to, again, share those questions there and I suppose discuss them and give people some thoughts, ideas, strategies, plans in regard to things they can do now.
Yeah. I mean, the clients we're seeing coming through over the past couple of weeks have all had a different reaction, and some are quite calm and secure in exactly where they're up to. Some people are on the opposite extreme and panicking. So how do you think people's previous experience with money has formed the way they react to what's happening at the moment?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think what I've looked at this sort of Maslow, the sort of hierarchy of needs in a sense, and everyone was fairly high up on that hierarchy of needs. So they had good self-esteem there, that they had a sense of belonging. They didn't really need that safety, or they didn't need that sort of survival. And what we've seen is 80 to 90% drop into that lower end of that Maslow hierarchy. So, and it's really one working with them on that. So that in a sense has financial stress, it has fear, it has so much uncertainty for them. And what I'm seeing now in the community and with some of my clients is a lot of their patterns, behaviours around money, sort of that's a part of their programming when they were very young, 0 to 7. And we're starting to see that coming out, Nathan. So we're seeing a bit of self-sabotage. We're seeing some decisions made around fear, which is not healthy, and very emotional and irrational decisions there. So it's just so important to actually work on strategies to actually drop from your sort of subconscious fear mode into your conscious sort of mind there. What's a great strategy? What's a rational strategy in regard to doing the best for us in this scenario? So that's what I'm seeing a lot, where people, as I said, are going back into that. more, there's a number of money types, and I call it an innocent money type, which I won't go through that, but they're really scared and they want someone to hold their hand through this. We're happy to do that, but that's what I'm seeing a lot of. People just really need that support, guidance. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say?
What can people? Yeah. Look, yeah, we're seeing something similar. We're seeing people wanting to make very quick decisions, very black and white decisions, and that's not necessarily needing to be done today. So the decision doesn't necessarily have to be this hour, and it doesn't have to be this day even. We can stop, we can evaluate, we can look deeper into that longer term plan and then make a decision based on that. So, our advice for the last couple of weeks has been pretty simple. It's just been take a breath, absorb the information, take a breath out, and then let's make a rational decision based on all the information. And the decision doesn't have to be so black and white, right? We can say, look, let's head down this path for the next few days and see where it goes. And if we need to change, then we change. So I think it doesn't have to be a gradual or such a drastic swing one way to the other.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And I think in sharing with that, so some of the strategies that we're doing for our clients, one, I think you just hit it on the head with the breathing. I've always used this as a tool there where if I'm confronted with something and I tend to, if I respond quickly, it'll be from my fear base, it'll be emotional. And even if I could just take some breaths there and give me some time to bring it to my conscious, my reality, I'll make a better decision. So I'm a big believer in that. I've started meditating. It's not necessarily the cool word in a sense there, but it's just got so much value for me and for my clients there, just to really calm down in this sort of scenario there. And I think what I'm doing is, again, I think you said the same thing. It's really people understand their reality. Take out the noise and just really, what's your reality? What's your financial situation? What does it look like? What do you see happening over the next 1 month, 3 months, 12 months? And start building that reality where they're going, maybe it's not as bad as I actually thought it was. Yes, my income might drop by 20%. What can we do around that? Let's build some strategy. Let's go to a bank and maybe negotiate in regard to interest rates, but they mightn't have to do a lot. And other clients will have to do a lot, but they need to, I suppose, get that certainty about where they are at, what's the likelihood of things happening to them, and then just start building a strategy from there, which is empowering.
Yeah. Now, you spoke just then about some of the things people can move to move into that place where they can make sound financial decisions. So breathing, meditating, bringing that level back down. Is there any other kind of practical tips that they can be doing if they get stuck in this coronavirus Facebook spiral and are 3 hours into deep diving into the conspiracy theories? How do we pull back out of that and get in that sound mind again?
Yeah, and I think it's just giving them some control back, Nathan. That's probably the key. So with so much uncertainty, so feeling more safe, feeling more certain about things. So, and I know it's not a word that Australians love, but it is really looking at your budget. It's looking at your cash flow there, looking at your needs and your wants. I sat down with a woman who was quite stressed out, and we actually looked. She had a lot of credit card debt and a lot of other things going on. What we did is we put the credit cards, wrapped it up, amalgamated that. She was saving $600 a month in regard to her credit card debt. And then we looked at her expenses and we actually shaved off about $600-700 a month. And she was actually still going to live the same life, if anything, a bit healthier. But then she was just empowered. She actually said, I don't have to make as many changes as I thought. I was scared of this word budget there, but she's making better decisions there. It's not changing her life significantly at all. And she's actually getting on top of things that she actually thought she'd never be able to do. So it's more empowering than people believe, Nathan. So again, that would be the first part there. And then understanding exactly what this stimulus is all about. How can it help me? How it can serve me in regard to over the next 3-6 months, whatever it's going to be. And then actually just coming up with a strategy. I've spoken with you about some of the things you're implementing in your business. So if you're going to talk to the bank, as an example, what are you going to go through with them? So, the stimulus is talking about a holiday, not paying 3 to 6 months on your repayments. Is that the best thing? The stimulus is saying that you can take $10,000 out of your superannuation. Is that the best thing? Markets have come down significantly. I don't give superannuation advice, but it's really just coming up with a strategy there that's well thought out, specific to their needs, and they're making very conscious decisions with some good people around them, such as yourself, such as their accountant, even myself in regard to the money coaching side of it. Having the right team around you that you can sort of bounce the ideas off and make sure you're on track.
Yeah, look, and I think we're spending a lot of time in that budgeting piece at the moment. Yeah. It's something you should be doing regularly, regardless of your position or how heavily you've been affected. But more so than ever, you need to know where your money's going. Yes. We're running a bit of a series at the moment and giving real step-by-step information on how to do this. So printing out the last 90 days worth of transaction listings, because the truth is there, whether you like it or not, your Uber Eats is there and your sports bet account is there and your number of coffees is there. You can't lie. The data is real. Yes. And sometimes what we think we're spending in our head is very different to what's coming out on our tap account on a regular basis. So it's about getting that data into a budget, setting one that's realistic, and budget's not a scary word. We can still do things we like, but there are ways that we can say, well, we won't go out and eat twice a week. We'll go out and eat once a fortnight. So what are some things that we can do? And one thing we like to do is do things called budget swap outs. So again, rather than saying you can't do that anymore, it's saying, well, instead of having the $120 a month Foxtel package, can we have Netflix and Stan for $22 a month? And now we've freed up $100 a month in our budget. So are there ways we can swap it out? I know I spoke with a lot of fitness professionals, and that made sense to them when you relate it back to like your diet, right? It's not saying, well, you can't have that. Well, maybe don't have the whole block of chocolate. Maybe just have one square tonight. So, is there things that we can swap out to try and put a little bit more fat back in that budget?
Yeah, and that's great what you're doing there, because again, when we looked for our budget probably about 6 months ago when we were going for a loan, and we were paying for some subscriptions we didn't even know.
Yeah, there you go.
I put my hand up. I'm guilty of, but we stopped that straight away there. We looked at our insurances, we looked at our loans there, and honestly, what I'm seeing, even with my own family, but even clients that I'm looking after, is anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 you can save fairly easily, just by really assessing your whole situation there, what you're spending, and is it a smart way that you're spending. And that's fairly important to try to set up. I mean, their holidays, they're paying off your loan quicker. They're getting you through this situation that we're finding ourselves in now. This is, I suppose, giving you control back in very certain times there, which is, as you said, that's the power of understanding how your money flows.
Yeah, so I think a lot of that fear-based decision-making is coming out of uncertainty. That tends to drive it. So once you can bring certainty and you know the number, whether your budget's in surplus or deficit, you know the number at least now. If you can say, hey, we're backwards by $200 a month, where can we make our cuts to get us back in line? Or we're actually okay, we're saving $200 a month. If you know the number, that gives you certainty, it gives you power to actually proceed, and then the decision's a logical decision as opposed to a panic decision.
Exactly right. So I think that's, in a sense, on the financial side, Nathan, there. So, and I just think that sort of health and wellbeing, I'm just wanted to give us some tips there around really having a solid routine. I mean, I want to share with you that we haven't changed anything. If anything, we're doing more exercise. So with the online gyms, we're actually doing more classes than we were before. We're doing 2,000 steps a day. We're quite structured there. We're eating well. We're finding that with that routine, that was very important for us. It took us sort of a week where we floundered a bit there, and then we found our way and, as I said, set some really good routines. I just want to share that we are looking at what we're eating. We are looking at, drinking lots of water, moving through this in regard to not only a financial wellbeing space, but a sort of a health and wellbeing space as well. So looking after our emotional and wellbeing side as well. So I wanted to share that with the listeners. It's easy to sort of say I'm stuck at home there, and you can, get a bit lazy and get on that TV or watch Netflix for 4 hours instead of doing things you should. But It's just such an
Yeah.
important time to build that routine into your life. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about that with our own team this week. Is calling it the new routine. It looks like the time frame we didn't know. We weren't sure if it was days or weeks or months or years. Now we're getting a better understanding that it will be that kind of medium term time frame that we're working from home, and we can't just make it up on the fly. We need to build a new routine. And how do we do that? And my team have a lot of mums who have now got the kids at home, so they're trying to be the teacher at home and work and keep the house running in some sort of manner. And they're having to build these new routines. They're waking up earlier and doing a few hours of work in the morning before the family's up, and then taking time during the day to get the kids out on the bike and try and burn some energy and get out for a walk themselves and clear their heads. So, I think that new routine and finding a new routine temporarily for these next few months is, super important.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree with that. And I suppose just saying, not in a closing sense, what would be one of your sort of tips or gold nuggets, for the sake of a better word, for your clients and clients for that matter, in regard to...
Yeah, I think just speak to the experts. So speak to the people who sit in around this business day in, day out. So people like yourself, people like us, make sure you're getting the right information that's suitable to you, rather than using Facebook as your guiding light for all things information. There's a lot of powerful headlines out there. There's a lot of, click grabs that they're trying to get. The information that's relevant for you and is best for you is very different. Some of the wording around, repayment holidays, I absolutely hate that wording, because it's not a repayment holiday. In fact, you're going to pay more. You're going to pay more interest and higher loan repayment if you do it. Is it right for you? I don't know. We need to have a chat and work through your situation and see what's best. So my advice, take a breath, surround yourself with those experts, and make a sound decision based on what's best for your situation. Yourself, Michael, have you got some parting words to leave for our team?
I just want to endorse that, what you said there. That was going to be, I suppose, reaching out. A lot of times we're not good at it, so we tend to internalise, and that won't serve us. One of my learnings is that, and I'm generally guilty of that, the first thing I did was have some key people in my life reached out to straight away and just saying, here's where we're at to, just want to keep you updated. That's changed 3 or 4 times over the last month there, but it's just important, their feedback. They're just saying, well, just hold tight, or, have you thought about this? And you think you know a lot of stuff there, and they're giving you some good mindful tips there, that because you're in a bit of a different situation, you're in it. So when they're looking at you, they love you, they support you. I just can't emphasize enough. And that even health and well-being, if you've got some issues in regard to your stress and what's going on there, the quicker you reach out, the better. Don't wait and think you can work it out. There's some great people out there, and there's people there that are opening up their arms, opening up their minds, and that they're there to really support us all through this. So do it early, and it's fine. There's no ego in this. It's not about being proud. It's about everyone helping out as a community.
Perfect. Thanks, Michael. I really appreciate the catch up today.
Pleasure. All the best. Thanks, Nathan. Have a good Easter weekend.
You too.